So, Last Day on Earth PvP reminds me a lot of Brawl Stars The Arena. A bunch of players spawn in, and it's a free-for-all to determine the winner.
Why teaming is literally the worst part of...
Oh. Welcome back, everybody, to another Last Day on Earth PvP-oriented video. This video is going to be a little different, as I need some time to work on another one of those giant, really good video edits that I did for the last video about 30 tips. That really took a very long time to edit. So this is just something in between, but also an interesting topic that I feel is really worth discussing and talking about for its own standalone video, and that is, should Last Day on Earth ban teaming? So in this video, I'm going to talk roughly about 3 points, kind of like Kairos' video, why teaming is a problem, the 2 types of teamers, both your friends and teaming with randoms, the 3 options with teaming, which is essentially you team, you hide, or you fight, why kefir will not ban teamers outright, and a possible few solutions kefir may be able to do in order to address the idea of teaming. But first, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, trying to hit a goal of 25k this year, and join my Discord, code is right there. We talk a lot about ldoe PvP. First and foremost, we gotta talk about why teaming is a problem. And as I mentioned in my 30 tips video, there are 2 different types of teaming. There's teaming with friends, or people you recognize in zones, and then there's teaming with randoms. When it comes to dealing with teamers, you are essentially left with 3 options. You either team with them and hope they don't kill you on the spot, which is usually pretty rare if you find teamers from a different language. They will not hesitate to not team and start opening fire. The second option is you can either hide in a bush and hope that the people who are teaming do not end up finding you. Look at that right there on the screen. And then the third option to dealing with teaming is you can decide to fight the team. Now, with Last Day on Earth PvP, I'll be honest, that's pretty much impossible. Anything more than a 2v1 is not going to go too well. I suppose if you are very, very good, you might be able to win a 2v1. Maybe even a 3v1 if they're all in, like, say, radiation gear and have leg shot as their gun. But other than that, if there are a bunch of people in max combat gear with MP5Ks or HKs, you're probably not going to win that 3v1. ldoe PvP is kind of set up in that way, so fighting is pretty much not an option. So in order for me to discuss how teaming is bad, I need to talk about how teaming ultimately hurts new players, especially experiences in No Man's Land, and how that ultimately will hurt the longevity of this zone if nothing is done to address the current state of teaming. Now, teaming is a big problem because this zone is essentially a free-for-all. Now, that does mean you can team, but that puts the people who don't end up teaming at a severe disadvantage. After all, every single zone I head into are pretty much filled with teamers, and now what happens is, players who head into that zone looking for just some standard old PvP end up getting ganged up on by PvP teaming players, and then these players, these solo players, decide never to come back and never join again, which leaves just the teamers going to these PvP zones. Rinse and repeat this process. Now, kefir won't ban teamers outright. Yep, I said it. Kefir probably will not ban teamers outright. Yep, I know. Kind of controversial, but here's why. Kefir has numerous times stated that this zone is a free-for-all, meaning no rules. You can pretty much do anything except hack. Kefir pretty much will not go out of their way to say, we will ban cheaters, we will ban people who team in this zone, which is... I'm not the biggest fan, but I do completely see where they'd come from. So now let's move more into solutions. What do I think can be done about teaming? Now let me make one thing very clear. I do not think there is a very simple and easy solution which will solve all of teaming's problems. Obviously, there is always going to be some way around it that teamers will find to find some way to end up teaming. But here are just a couple of examples that I had that would make teaming a lot more difficult. Solution number 1, blur names. Above, I don't know if you want to do this above a specific level in the battle pass. Let's say you are level 10 in that battle pass, and all of a sudden your name is automatically blurred. That would make finding people you know and also finding people you don't know a lot more difficult, as you don't know who's who, you don't know if that person is actually your friend or if there's someone impersonating your friend. But obviously, the solution can only go so far. People are obviously going to chat with each other outside and know whether, hey, spin if you are, spin if you're not, and that's how they figure it out. So the other solution I would have, and this is more of a long-term solution, but I think it could do some good at least minimizing the impact teaming has on this sort of zone, and that is add parties in a party-like zone, which is essentially like Clan Wars, if you think about it. What you do is essentially, instead of having people, try and enter the zone at the same time, have the game allow you to do that, so you can enter the zone with a couple of people, probably 3, just like normal LDE zones, and then you can go at another team, and you won't be able to damage your teammates or something like that. Or if you want LDE, you can have it so you can damage your teammates. I don't know how you want to do it, but just put teams against teams, and then people solo against solo. I mean, obviously, people are going to still be able to hit enter, but it would minimize the impact, I think. There'd be a lot more solo players coming back to zones, and then I think that would definitely minimize the impact teaming has in that zone. Or one other idea that someone mentioned, which I think is kind of funny, have a miner or a devourer or something like that spawn and go after the giant groups of players that group up. I think that would be funny, but honestly, I think it would ruin the zone, in all honesty. So just to very quickly recap over everything I've gone over in this video. Teaming is ultimately going to hurt No Man's Land if it is left in the same state that it is currently in, and no changes are done from that. Obviously, I think that kefir are actually smart, and they're going to do something indirectly, maybe, to address the teaming situation. So I do have hope that they will be able to fix it. Probably indirectly, not going to outright ban them, but there are a couple of different ways that I do see them going about it. So I am interested to know all of that. Anyways, as I said, let me know what you think down below. Roll outro. But again, as I continue to stress, there is no simple snap of a fix that will eliminate teaming. Teaming will always ultimately be a problem in this zone. It's just about how much ldoe kefir really minimizes it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I'm curious to know all of your thoughts. Do you think that's absurd? I do. But let me know all of your solutions. Do you think teaming has an easy fix? Should kefir just go out and ban all the teamers altogether? Or should something else happen entirely? Let me know all of that down below. Really good video coming Thursday, I hope. Subscribe, ZD out.